About the treasure in the Otavě River. The gold-bearing Otavě River flows through the Czech lands. Its wealth has been attracting seekers of this precious metal since ancient times. Anyone who was close by wanted to try out their golden luck. It was becoming harder and harder to find it, however, and therefore the number of enthusiastic gold seekers began to wane. A poor peasant called Matěj lived with his wife in a cottage near the river, and one day, into all their poverty, their son Vítek was born. Matěj, feeling troubled, set off to the river in the hope that he might still be able to find some gold. He struggled with the pans for hours, but found nothing more than a few gold flakes. Desperately, he tried again and again, but the river did not want to yield up her treasure. Night came, and he returned home feeling devastated. He was surprised when he saw a light still on in the cottage so late. He peered curiously through the window into the room, and he was astonished. Sitting by the cradle with the newborn were the three fates, spinning the thread of his destiny on a wheel, and at just that moment, they were pronouncing their prophecy. The first fate, who was preparing the yarn, said that his son would be very rich. The second one, who was shaping the thread, prophesied that he would be greatly respected. The river would bring both luck and wealth. But it also may take it away if her gift is abused, added the third fate, who was wrapping the thread on the spindle. Then she blew out the candle, and the fates disappeared. The next morning, Matěj went to the river again. When he first picked up some sand from its bed, he discovered a shell in his pan. Because he was hungry, he opened it. A beautiful large pearl glistened inside it. He started to look around in the bay, and eventually he found so many of them that he was able to feed the entire family. Matěj bought a field along the river and also hired some farm workers. Suddenly, instead of just the cottage, there was a farm. Instead of just the farm, a village, which was later to become a large town. Matěj got older, and his son Vítek matured. The latter became both a wealthy businessman and a very important burgher. One day, Vítek's father weakened and had to lie down. It was clear that soon his final hour was approaching. He called his son to his deathbed and reminded him of the prophecies of the fates, and especially the warning of the third one. Then he breathed his last. Vítek, however, quickly forgot his father's words. He took care of his property in the same way as the others, who threw or poured everything that they did not need into the river. There were no longer any freshwater pearls in it, and the river, over time, gradually changed into a murky sewer. Both people and animals began to suffer, and death became a daily visitor. The town fell into disrepair, and Vítek became the lord of the abandoned ruins. Then he remembered his father's words, and he went to the river. He asked the dead and dirty water how things could be made right, but there was no response. Eventually, desperate and exhausted, he fell asleep on the riverbank. He was awakened by a dazzling light. The fates were in a clearing by the river and were again spinning the thread of his destiny. They told him that if he brought them all his wealth, they would help him. Vítek obeyed, although he only had some pearls left. The fates threw them back into the river. At precisely that moment, a dense silver mist rose from it. One of the fates caught it in the spinning wheel and motioned to Vítek to try to spin it. Without hesitating, he set to work. He spun and spun until all the mist had turned into a barely visible thread. From this, the fates then knitted a thin, dense network. Spreading it out over the river, they slowly immersed it into the stream of water, leaving it there until it had captured all the dirt and the sludge. Finally, only crystal clear water remained. Freshwater pearls returned to the river and its inhabitants to the town, and Vítek took care that the river would remain healthy and clean forever. Although this is just a legend, today there are fabrics that can indeed purify water and air. This is enabled by the means of nanotechnologies that have also been developed by Czech companies. They make life easier for many people because clean water is becoming increasingly scarce on our planet.